how do you avoid frontline leaders feeling burned out? I'm Greg Schenkel, President of Unique Training and Development and Frontline Leadership Systems. And in this Leader Feeder, we've got to look at the burnout of the leaders, which is never a good thing. So the myth is that there's nothing we can do about leadership burnout. We don't have enough staff, and so our frontline supervisors and team leaders are going to have to step in and fill all the gaps. And they have an endless supply of energy and enthusiasm to bring to those tasks. Well, the fact is that almost 60% of leaders report being or feeling burned out. And because of that, in 2021, when they interviewed 1,000 high potential leaders, they found that 86% felt exhausted at the end of the day, which was an increase of 27% over the previous year. So that shows you a bit of the impact of COVID. But we had a manufacturer who was facing a significant burnout issue in its supervisors. Either they would up and quit, resign their post, or they would stay but ended up feeling very cranky and demotivated. So they felt really under-supported, and the company identified that and gave them some of the skill building that they needed, but also some of the support that they needed to reverse the burnout situation and have them be more energized for the work that lay ahead. So I've got a few tips for how you can avoid frontline leaders feeling burned out. And here's tip number one. Tip number one is to quantify the workload. You know, inevitably, we just keep heaping on more and more onto people until they break. And that's because a lot of people don't tell us that we've given them too much to do. So how do you look at the workload that you've assigned to your leaders and say, is that a reasonable thing to expect from them on a daily basis? Tip number two is to leave time for leadership. A lot of supervisors are so busy doing a lot of admin tasks and project work and meetings, committee work, that they don't end up actually spending enough time on the floor interacting with their people. So you've got to look at some of those tasks and remove some of them to others. And that's tip number three, is to shift tasks to support departments. Now, inevitably, we surround supervisors with the support that they need so that they can focus on their leadership responsibilities, and other departments and groups can actually take away some of the work that we end up throwing onto the supervisor. It's really easy to over-delegate tasks to the supervisor and then wonder why they're feeling burned out and not spending the right amount of time interacting with their people. Now, helping them not be burned out is also about building up their capabilities. And of course, that's where we come in with our Frontline Leadership Program. Whether you have us delivered in English, Spanish, or French, whether we do it on site in person or through our state-of-the-art virtual training studio, or maybe using our new on-demand format. Either way, it all starts with a conversation on our website at uniquedevelopment.com. Me and my team would love to have a talk with you about how we can bring the resources that we have to your team's challenges so that we can create leadership excellence in the future.